did you realize your parents shouldn't have had kids? I was 9 when I figured out that normal parents don't make their children compete for basic necessities like food, attention, and shelter. My parents had turned raising kids into some twisted survival game where only the strongest or most useful child got their needs met. It started with dinner. Every night, my parents would make exactly enough food for 4 people, but we were a family of 6. Me, my 2 younger sisters, and my baby brother. The rule was simple. Whoever helped mom and dad the most that day got to eat first. The rest of us had to wait and see if there was anything left. I learned to work harder than any 9-year-old should have to. I'd wake up at 5 a.m. to do laundry, clean the kitchen, and pack lunches for my siblings. I'd rush home from school to do more chores, help with homework, and basically be a second parent to my younger siblings, all just to earn the right to eat dinner. My little sister Mia was only 6, but she'd already learned to lie about being hungry. She'd pretend she wasn't interested in food when there wasn't enough, just to avoid the disappointment. My other sister Lucy would steal snacks from school friends' lunchboxes because she never knew when she'd get to eat at home. The worst part wasn't the hunger. It was watching my parents treat us like we were in competition with each other instead of being a family. They'd pit us against each other for everything. Who could fold laundry faster? Who could make the baby stop crying first? Who could clean their room the best? When I was 10, I realized this wasn't normal during a sleepover at my friend Sarah's house. Her mom made dinner for everyone without asking who deserved it most. She just put plates on the table and told us to eat. When I asked Sarah what chores she had to do to earn her dinner, she looked at me like I was crazy. My mom makes dinner because she's my mom, Sarah said. I don't have to earn food. That's just what parents do. I spent that whole night thinking about what she'd said. Parents are supposed to feed their children because they love them, not because the kids worked hard enough to deserve it. I started paying attention to how other families work. Friends' parents didn't make them compete for attention or affection. They didn't withhold basic needs as punishment. They didn't treat their children like employees who had to prove their worth every single day. The breaking point came when my baby brother got sick. He was only 3 and had a fever that wouldn't go down. I begged my parents to take him to the doctor, but they said they didn't have money for medical bills. Meanwhile, they just bought themselves a new TV and were planning a weekend trip without us kids. That night, I snuck out and walked to the neighbor's house. I knocked on Mrs. Patterson's door at 11 p.m. and told her my brother was really sick and needed help. She didn't ask questions. She just grabbed her car keys and drove us to the emergency room. At the hospital, the doctor asked me why I was the one bringing in my baby brother instead of my parents. I told him the truth, that my parents said they didn't have money for doctors, but they had money for themselves, that they made us work for food, that they treated us like we were burdens instead of their children. The doctor's face changed completely. He asked me to wait in the hallway while he made some phone calls. An hour later, a social worker arrived and started asking me questions about our home life. I told her everything, about competing for dinner, about raising my siblings, about being afraid to get sick because medical care wasn't guaranteed. Child services removed all 4 of us from the house that night. My parents were furious, claiming I'd lied and exaggerated everything. But when the social worker interviewed my siblings separately, they all told the same story. We were kids who'd been forced to earn basic human needs instead of receiving them as the right of being someone's child. We were placed with different foster families temporarily, but we stayed in touch. For the first time in my life, I lived in a house where dinner was automatic, where getting sick meant getting care, not being seen as an inconvenience, where children were treated like children instead of unpaid servants. My youngest sister Mia, now in a stable foster home, gained 15 pounds in 6 months. She'd been malnourished for years, but was so used to it that she thought feeling hungry all the time was normal. Lucy stopped stealing food from classmates because she finally had reliable meals. The most heartbreaking part was watching my baby brother learn to trust adults again. He'd been so used to having his needs ignored that he'd stopped asking for help when he needed it. His new foster mom spent months teaching him that it was okay to ask for food when he was hungry, for comfort when he was scared, for attention when he wanted to play. Our parents lost custody permanently. During the court hearings, they kept insisting they were just teaching us responsibility and work ethic. The judge looked at them and said, "You can teach children responsibility without making them compete for basic human needs. Food, shelter, and medical care are rights, not privileges to be earned." I'm 25 now, and I still sometimes feel guilty for eating without working for it first. But I've learned what normal families look like. Parents who have children because they want to love and care for them, not because they want free labor. Parents who see their role as providing for their children, not as kings who decide which subjects deserve their resources. My siblings and I are all doing well now. We've stayed close, bonded by the experience of surviving parents who never should have had kids. We're all in therapy, learning to unlearn the lessons our parents taught us about having to earn love and basic care. Last year, my parents reached out wanting to reconnect with their grandchildren. I told them the truth. Some people are meant to be parents, and some people are meant to be cautionary tales. They proved they belonged in the second category, and I'm not giving them another chance to hurt innocent children.